and it is about 6 o'clock, a little after 6. So we are gonna have breakfast for dinner tonight. So I've got a delicious breakfast recipe for you. Breakfast for dinner, breakfast for breakfast, a weekend breakfast, brunch, whatever you wanna do with it. We always have breakfast for dinner on Wednesday night, every single week. If you ask anybody that knows us, every Wednesday it is breakfast for dinner. So we have all of our ingredients out. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna whip up tonight. And we just got back from a workout and I'm starving. So let's get it going. Kind of running low on that, so I might have to add some almond flour, but we'll see how it goes. I've got some organic coconut oil. I've got allspice, ground cinnamon, and I brought this out to say if you don't have real ginger, you can use ginger spice if you want to. I've got some cashew milk. Any nut milk will work. Any milk actually will work, but for sake of making it healthier, we're doing unsweet, any sort of nut milk. I've got some bacon here, no sugar in this bacon, and I've got some organic brown eggs. So it's gonna be so good. Let's get this started. So first things first, I'm gonna start with my bacon because I like to bake my bacon instead of doing it on the stovetop, just because I feel like, one, you've got your hands to do other things instead of hanging over bacon, and two, it cooks super crispy and you don't have as much to clean up. So can I get a hallelujah for that? So I just use regular tin foil. I think this one came from Walmart. Yeah, it's great value. Doesn't really matter. I wouldn't recommend using the Dollar Tree kind because a little thin kind of breaks on you. But I'm gonna use this bacon and I'm just gonna lay it out in a few sheets across probably 4 to 5 slices. And I'm gonna put this in the oven at 405 degrees and I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. I really don't go by time. I go by what it looks like, and when I start to smell it, that's when I start to watch it. So every oven is different, so that's why I say don't go by time, watch your, just lay it out and kind of bunch it up, you know, in certain little spots to make sure that it fits across. And then I'm gonna pop this in my 405 degree oven. I don't wait until it hits the 405 degrees. I just let it heat up a little bit. And then once I get it on the tray, I pop it in here and that's it. We're just gonna keep an eye on it, and when it's done, we'll take it out. Okay, so we just hit the 405 and I don't know if you can hear it. Probably not, Trent's playing music outside. But our bacon just started to sizzle and it's gonna fog up on me. But that's what I'm talking about. That's when you start to smell it. Leave it like that and then just check it periodically to make sure that it doesn't burn or burn your house down. You don't want that. Y'all are probably gonna 100% laugh at me, but I don't own a real, I won't say a real, I don't own a regular waffle maker. I own a Mickey Mouse face waffle maker. So that's what I'm using. So if that's what you have, use what you have. It works just the same. So I did think correctly that the pancake mix that I had, only for both bags is about a half a cup. So I need 2.5 cups. So that's gonna be a half a cup. There's 1 cup, 1.5, 2 cups. And I'm not probably gonna do as much as the recipe that I wrote a long time ago says. I've got it all over me because there's only 2 of us and I don't need that much. But if I do have leftovers, I'll just pop them in the freezer and we can heat them up for breakfast throughout the rest of the week. So that's what we're gonna do. Y'all are probably gonna 100% laugh at me, but I don't own a real, I won't say a real, I don't own a regular waffle maker. I own a Mickey Mouse face waffle maker. So that's what I'm using. So if that's what you have, use what you have. It works just the same. So I did think correctly that the pancake mix that I had, only for both bags is about a half a cup. So I need 2.5 cups. So that's gonna be a half a cup. There's 1 cup, 1.5, 2 cups. And I'm not probably gonna do as much as the recipe that I wrote a long time ago says. I've got it all over me because there's only 2 of us and I don't need that much. But if I do have leftovers, I'll just pop them in the freezer and we can heat them up for breakfast throughout the rest of the week. So that's what we're gonna do. The next item of business is we have to do our coconut oil. Now, You can use ghee or butter if you want to, but I prefer to use coconut oil. You need about 1/4 of a cup, and I'm gonna eyeball this because I usually can pick that out pretty well. But if you're not good at that, just make sure that you use a measuring cup just to make sure. That's about 1/4 of a cup right there. Perfect. And then we're gonna do our pumpkin. Now I need to open up the pumpkin, so I'll wait a second to do that after I turn the screen off. But we also have our ginger, our allspice, and our cinnamon. So what I'm gonna do is kind of blend this up just a little bit, just to make sure that the coconut oil is kind of spread out. This is a personal preference, totally up to you. Okay, so we're headed to our pumpkin next, and you need 1 cup of pumpkin puree. My measuring cup here is 1/2 of a cup, so I'm gonna get 2 of these. I had a 1 full cup at one time, and I don't know if I accidentally threw it away or what happened. I'm really not sure, so I need to get another one of those. But that's 1/2 a cup. We're gonna do 1 full cup of the pumpkin puree, and then we're gonna do another 2 cups of milk. And remember, dairy-free milk is what I'm using, but use what works best for you. It's totally a personal preference there. All right, so there's our 1 cup, and then we're gonna need 2 cups of milk, and I'm using Silk unsweet. Okay, before it cut me off, doing a second 1/2 a cup here. Oh my gosh, I'm about to drop it. So this is two cups here of the cashew milk that I'm using. I'm only gonna use 1 cup first, mix it up a little bit, kind of see where we are before adding the 2nd cup. But when it cut me off, I had already added the 2nd cup, so just keep that in mind. Now I can smell our bacon, so we're gonna go ahead and head over here and check it out, and we're gonna add a little, I don't know, pizzazz to it to make it extra fall, because why not? Why not? Doing this with one hand is probably gonna be hard, but you can see my bacon is pretty crispy. Now, I like to get it to this point. We like it a little more crispy. Again, do what works best for you. I'm gonna leave the oven on, but I've got some coconut sugar here. And we're gonna make it kind of like a, I don't know what you call it. I know there's a certain restaurant around here that calls it $1 million bacon, but it's just gonna add just a little bit, like not a whole bunch, just a little bit to each slice of bacon, and then pop it back in the oven for just a couple more minutes, just to let those flavors kind of sink in there. And oh my goodness, it's gonna be so good. While we wait on the bacon, just a couple more minutes, I'm gonna add a little bit of allspice, about a 1/2 teaspoon, maybe not that much, a little bit of cinnamon, about the same amount. Now, if you have pumpkin pie spice, you can use that as well. Mine is on the way. I ordered some more from Flavor God, so it's not here yet, but it's on the way. So add a little ginger, or you can do the real ginger if you wanted to do that, but I'm doing this so that you can see what you can use either way, and it works just as fine. And we're gonna check our bacon, go ahead and take it out, and I'm gonna add some paper towels to a plate, just a regular dinner plate, and we're gonna lay them out, and that way they can drain all the grease off from there. Or if you have a baker's rack that you can sit on the counter, you can do that as well. And I have both, so you can do it either way. We gotta take the bacon out of the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the oven off because I don't need it again. Step away so the heat doesn't hit me in the face. And they're nice and crispy and delicious. We love our bacon super, super crispy because I was raised in the house with my dad. And if you know Timmy, you know all about that. He is like the bacon king. But you know, do your bacon the way that you like. And I just have a plate with a paper towel. I'm gonna lay each one of these pieces out, and I'm gonna separate them just a little bit so that they're not touching. Lay these out on this plate, and I'm gonna pop them in the microwave just like this so that they stay warm, but they continue to drain the grease off. And then we're gonna finish our Mickey Mouse waffles, or if you have a regular waffle maker, do it in a regular waffle maker. It works just the same, y'all. For our last 2 steps, we need 2 eggs. If you have homegrown eggs, Man, would these be absolutely perfect for that. But if you don't, get them at the store. They don't have to be brown eggs. I just prefer brown eggs, organic brown eggs. So we're gonna add 2 of these in, and I'm gonna add 1 at a time and just kind of blend it in just a little bit, like not completely mixed, before I add the other one. Again, a personal preference. Perfect. We're gonna blend it all in together. If you have a blender, you can do that, or you can do it the old-fashioned way and grow some extra muscles as you mix all this together. Now, one big key with your waffles here is to let it sit. After you mix all this together and you get it nice, my bad, before I was interrupted. Before you make your waffles, mix it all up, and then I want you to just leave it and let it sit for a couple of minutes, maybe like 5 minutes tops, just so it can thicken a little bit, so that when you pour it into your waffle maker, or if you want to make pancakes out of it, that's totally fine too. It's not going to be super runny. That way it doesn't burn on the bottom before you have to flip your pancakes, or it just takes longer and it's super runny and messy in your waffle makers. So that is my tip for you. Now I'm gonna let this sit for a couple of minutes, and we're gonna start making our first waffle, and we're gonna move on with the rest of our ingredients, and there's not very many. So we're gonna add some other eggs to this. We've got the bacon. I'm gonna add some spinach to our eggs to make sure that it's got some extra greens in there. And I know you're thinking, pumpkin waffles as a sandwich, we have weird taste. So if you just like the waffles, then just do the waffles. You do not have to make it into a sandwich, but I promised that I would show y'all what we are having for dinner this week and how you can make it your own. So that is the goal of what we're doing today. My kitchen looks a hot mess because we've got everything pulled out here. But what I like to do, another tip that I was gonna tell you, what I like to do in between each step, like if I have to wait a few minutes, is clean some of the kitchen up, do some of the dishes, so that when dinner's done, I don't have a lot to clean up. I can just go get a shower, come sit on the couch, chill, whatever I've got to do for the rest of the night. So work smarter, not harder. So we've got some of our dishes done. Our pancake mix, waffle mix is nice and thick. Now what I'm gonna do is take my waffle maker, open it up, it's nice and hot, use a little bit of olive oil cooking spray, and I'm not gonna like fully coat it, like completely spray it down. You wanna make sure that it's not gonna stick, but you don't wanna like have an extra mess that you're gonna have to clean up. So lightly coat it. I'm gonna take 1/4 of a cup, measuring cup, and I'm gonna dollop it inside in small little motions and kind of push it around a little bit. This is a Mickey waffle maker, so I can't leave out his ears. Add a little bit to this other ear, and then I'll close it up and let it hang out until it says it's ready, which is usually about 4 minutes-ish, and then we'll be good to go. So I realized, forgot to tell y'all, you gotta have some baking powder if you're not using all-purpose flour. And I used a pancake mix along with almond flour, so I needed a little bit of baking powder, and I completely dropped that. So add about 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon-ish. I know that's kind of a wide variety, but just add a little bit at a time. See how it goes, so that it doesn't stick, and that way it doesn't take as long to cook. So important step that Madison forgot, so sorry. He still looks pretty good, so it's all good. He might be a little bit harder to get out, and he might fall apart a little bit more, but that's okay. So, I'm gonna take him very gently out. It's hard to do with one. So there he is. I tasted it, tastes delicious. So I'm gonna finish the rest of these up, and then I'll check back in. I also wanted to quickly make a note that it's also important not to overfill your waffle maker. If you put too much in it, it's gonna take forever to cook, and it probably won't cook all the way through because you've got so much in it. So be careful of the amount that you put inside. Just enough is perfect. The last thing, got the coffee making, so if you hear the noise, that's what that is. I'm gonna use a little bit of this coconut oil and add this to a skillet. I've got my skillet already heated up, a little bit less than medium heat, so like low to medium heat. add a little bit of coconut oil in the bottom and let it melt. And Trent likes to have whole eggs. I like to have egg whites for breakfast, for dinner. But again, your personal preference. And no, I do not whip my eggs before I cook them when I scramble them. And this is why. I just prefer to break the yolk, turn it down just a little bit more. I prefer to break the yolk and do kind of like a stirring motion as I do that. So it's not like yellow eggs, it's like egg whites mixed with. This is kind of what you end up with. Trent doesn't like his eggs super done either. He likes them still kind of runny. But this is just how we do things around here. So I'm just gonna take these and put them in a little bowl to the side, and then I'm gonna do my egg whites. There we have it. A little bit of coconut sugar bacon. We've got some eggs. Trent's got whole eggs. I've got egg whites. Our pumpkin waffles, and I decided not to make it a sandwich because I don't want to pick it up. I just want to mix it all together, but it looks delicious. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do want this recipe, don't forget to come back tomorrow. I'll have it posted to the website sometime tomorrow, and I will post here on my story once it's all there. And I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Fuel up with some good yummy stuff tonight, and let me know what you're having for dinner. I'm always curious.